Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You are joined by two of your usual hosts, Josh Hartley and Ben Porter. How are we doing?
Doing good. Coming to the end of another week jam-packed with house viewings for me. So
Yes.
Bit washed out.
Cool. So, we've got a bit to talk about. We have, both of us have played Tom Mannering at various Games Workshop games over the last week, so we'll have a chat about that in a bit. Last weekend, though, a couple of things happened. There was Virtually Expo, and we had a sort of big announcement day from GW as well. So should we dive into the GW announcement first?
Let's do Virtually Expo first, I think, because we've probably got more to say about the GW
that's
stuff.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I didn't really take part in it, if I'm being honest.
No, and I think like we discussed this before. Like you and I love going to conventions. Like one for seeing all the shiny new stuff, but two like it's the experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Personally, these online conventions, I think the intentions behind them are good. And I think that, definitely, like, if you're running a convention, you really should mark the day that you would have been running your convention in some way. Personally, it doesn't hold much appeal.
No.
I think I understand the need for them, especially, like, for a lot of the smaller companies, because they really are dependent on a lot of the trade they get at these shows. So, like, being able to have a little virtual shop.
Yeah.
And actually like build a bit of hype on it, all that. I think that's a good thing.
No, absolutely. It's definitely better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's just it kind of makes me miss actual conventions a bit more because I'm like, we should have been doing this in person. Yeah. But I don't think there were any. Bizarrely, there were no like massive announcements over it.
But then, like we were saying as well, like most of the announcements tend to come at Gen Con, or at Spiel, depending on what type of game it is.
Yeah, I mean, and by all accounts, I think that the weekend itself went well. I think it was On Tabletop who was running a lot of it and
they're
the
the
coverage.
media partner, right? So
yeah, so we did notice though. They did have a lot of sponsors still. No GW.
Yeah, well, I don't think they were a sponsor even like before all of this. For 2020, I don't think they were.
Were they not? Right, because they were last year, weren't they?
They were last year.
Yeah.
I don't know why that would be. I mean, they almost certainly would have had a presence at the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I checked a map or a calendar. I don't know if they'd released them.
No, I don't think they had been released.
But yeah, the main thing is like I don't think that they would have ever participate in Virtually Expo because they can engage directly with their fans because they've got all the streaming services set up.
They've got a pretty big online presence now.
Yeah,
GW.
yeah.
They have come into the 21st century. So.
Yeah, they don't really need help with that. I think there was about 30,000 tuned into the preview.
And what was announced at the preview?
So preview time. This preview I think was kind of light on like actual new models.
Yeah, there was a few people on the stream making that comment. A lot of books were announced,
which I love game books.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah.
Right. But
we mentioned him earlier. Tom Mannering, he loves a game book.
Yeah. But the first announcement was Forge World and 30k.
Yeah, so it is book 9 of the Horus Heresy series, and it is Dark Angels versus Night Lords. So all the edgelords.
Yeah, all the edgelords all the time. So we've got a model for what's the Primarch called again?
Lionel Johnson.
Lionel Johnson.
Which
Looking like
we'd already seen, so...
it's a cool model though.
Yeah.
It's about to decapitate some unfortunate heretic, so...
Yeah.
We do get some Night Lords models that...
I think these were revealed for the first time.
Yeah.
The Night Lord Terminators.
They look pretty cool. We were saying that, like, of all the Chaos Legions, I think Night Lords are probably one of the goofiest looking with the bat wings.
I think they've aged pretty badly. Like the bat wings and the lightning.
Yeah,
needs to go back to the 90s.
but it's totally rad.
Yes, it has aged horribly.
But these models look cool.
Yeah, the models look cool.
Yeah,
paint them a different colour though.
And there's no reason why you couldn't use these in 40k.
No, and like, I mean, like with a bit of converting and filing, like really you could use them as Chaos Terminators for like any Legion, really.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Change the shoulder pads or something. They're not too like specifically Night Lordy. I think the Chaos in general love a bit of flayed skin, so
don't we all?
I mean.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Necromunda.
So this is the House of Iron book was revealed. I think these are actually like alternative names for all of the
gangs. Yeah.
Yeah, because you had what was the House of Blades was Escher. The House of Chains was Goliath.
Yep.
I think.
Yep, and this is the House of Iron.
They're like Necromunda is getting even more fleshed out, and you're getting books specifically for each gang. Which Necromunda's a really crunchy skirmish system.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so it stands to reason that each should get their own book. I mean, I had a look through your Necromunda rulebook.
Yes.
Made my head spin.
Tracking ammo and all of that. Yeah.
There's a lot going on. I mean, I want to give it a go. It seems like fun.
Yes.
But it's...
simple rule set, it is not.
Necromunda is a skirmish game for wargamers.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Alongside the book, we've got some new models as well, including some Robo-Dogs.
Yeah, I think that was the thing everyone in the stream was most hyped about. Cyber Doggos.
Yeah. Some cool models in general, though. Like, there's one of the Orlok leaders that you can buy out of this kit. He has just a massive hammer.
The big robo hands.
Yeah. So that looks cool. A couple of guys with jump packs as well, which is neat.
These guys are basically space bikers, right? So, like, they've still got that sort of industrial punk.
Mm.
Do you think there may be there's a bit too much overlap with them and Goliath, or do you feel like they're still distinct?
No, I think they're distinct enough, because obviously Goliath are like super roided out, right? They're the close combat gang. These guys, Orlok, from what I can tell, is quite a versatile one. Like, you can tailor it a little bit to do what you need it to do, but then you run the risk of jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, but I mean, like in any system, you kind of need this.
You need that
polymath type thing, don't you?
So that was the Necromunda announcement.
And really nice models again.
Yeah,
very nice.
Very nice.
Just looking through them, and it's nice that they've actually got some female models.
Yeah,
with as well.
We haven't seen enough of that for the other gangs, and hopefully they'll continue that trend as well.
We're just looking at the models. That's quite an old school style of painting they've done there. Look at all the black lining. See that?
So they have, aye.
Yeah, it's like a proper 90s job.
But I mean, Necromunda's quite nostalgic for me, because like it feels very 90s, the whole setting.
Not that one so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got a bit of it there. See the black line?
Hazard stripes everywhere as well.
Yeah.
Like,
that's funny.
Yeah. So, and there's the cyborg mastiffs.
They're Dobermans.
Oh, the Dobermans.
Aye. Some devil dog, right?
Yeah. Don't want to mess with him.
No. He's terrifying. Look at the size of his teeth. Oof.
Yeah, the robotics aren't even the scary thing about that one. There was not much for 40k because
they've just had a
load
of stuff, and then they're going to get a whole load more in October.
But they did announce a new Necron model, the Frank Reynolds bot. It is a
Hexmark Destroyer.
Yes.
He's more like the like you've almost got two kind of subspecies within the Necrons, where you've got the Destroyers, which are like Scorpion King, like Scorpion Centaur type people, and then you've got the traditional Necron is like an android.
Bipedal.
This guy is like sort of Scorpion Centaur.
He's got 6 arms, each with a gun on. So, he's just there to get blasting.
He looks like something straight out of Overwatch.
He looks awesome.
Yeah,
it's a great sculpt.
Yeah.
Right? Necrons is not an army I'd ever pick up, but
no, I do have a bunch of Necrons to work on. And little plug for Warhammer, I will be working on a tutorial for painting Necrons in the future. I think, I've started using some of my Green Stuff World colour shifting paints. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes peeled.
And the new sculpts are great though.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And it was about time they got some new ones.
I think we've said this a couple times before. Age of Sigmar, like if you're purely going on aesthetics, is streets ahead of 40k overall.
Yeah, but it's because Age of Sigmar is only 4 years old. 5. So that's the oldest model in that range is only 5 years old.
Yeah, but
whereas
no, that's not true.
You can use some of the old world stuff, but like most, I mean, am I wrong in saying like most Age of Sigmar players are using like the new factions now?
Generally,
yeah.
There are still like weirdly in Chaos. I think Marauders are still considered like one of the best units. So some people running around with those.
Yeah, they're old.
They
have not aged well.
They have not, no.
But like the thing with 40k is because it's been a system in existence since the 1980s, like, and they have not updated some of the sculpts since for like 20 years. Like,
and a lot of them are in dire need of it.
Khorne Berserkers.
Yeah,
they look awful.
I actually think that Craftworld Eldar, they really need a lot of love.
Yeah, and
they're looking pretty dated.
And I've said it, like I would like to see some new guardsmen as well.
I think we could do with a new Orc Boys kit. I think some of the proportions are looking a bit odd.
Given how old that kit is, though, I think it's held up. Yeah. It doesn't look awful.
The point is, though, I think 40k, not including Marines. I think most of the factions in 40k need at least, there's models within.
Generally speaking, the Xenos races don't get enough love.
Yeah.
Like, so, well, I mean, new edition. So we're going to start seeing new models coming out for it as well.
I think so. I think we're almost certainly going to see, considering this is the edition of Close Combat.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very surprised if we did not see a World Eaters Codex.
That would be so cool.
With all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I'd love that. I wouldn't get it because I'm a disciple of Nurgle.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to see them get their own codex
and to get an Angron running about the tabletop.
Furious Primarch,
the coolest of the demon Primarchs.
Probably. I like Mortarion, but
I love that, like, you're a Nurgle player, but you're like, it's true.
No, but like Angron would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like that, they could have so much fun with that model.
Yeah, be like a bloodthirster, but even worse.
Terrifying.
Yeah, he's such a cool character.
Mm. Anyway, we've got off topic here. There is another book coming out for 40k.
Yeah,
this is a mission pack. It's called 40k Warhammer 40,000 Crusade Mission Pack Beyond the Veil. This is all set in the Necron part of the galaxy.
The Pariah system, I think.
The Pariah Nexus there, yeah. So this is a supplement for playing Crusade games.
Crusade is essentially campaigns, but they've actually got structure and it's all fleshed out.
So always good to see is a new campaign pack.
Yeah, I mean I think that as mentioned in the previous podcast, I am taking my first steps in the 40k universe, and I've been gathering together a salamander force. I've seen that there's a lot of chat about how powerful they are at the moment. I would like to assure the listeners that is a happy accident. I picked them purely because I liked the fluff and I thought they looked cool.
Has it got anything to do with the fact that they're big rivals with Death Guard?
I mean, that may have been a factor. But it is predominantly... And like I said to you before, I kind of like the conceptual symmetry between the salamanders and my fire slayers.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Why was I talking about that?
Crusade.
Yeah, like Crusade is, I think, predominantly the way that I'll be playing 40k.
Oh yeah, and we'll when the armies are ready, we'll have a crack at Crusade ourselves. So
saying that to say, I imagine we might pick this up at some point. I mean, it depends how specific it is to the Pariah Nexus, right? Because
yeah, we'll wait and see, and figure out if it's worth picking up. That's the thing with campaign books. They're nice to have, but they're not needs to have.
Best campaign book that I've bought, hands down, so far, has been Firestorm.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
that was great.
With the map.
With the little stickers on.
With the reusable sticker. Yeah, just a phenomenal campaign. Great fun. We should break that board out again at some point.
Yeah, we should. We've got some new terrain as well. Although it looks like kind of like a repack of old terrain.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean it's got a couple of new bits, I think.
But I mean,
the shrine mainly.
Yeah, but it is. But it comes with a board as well, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, with the card board. And I think obviously that's quite helpful with regards to the new table sizes.
Yes.
For 40k.
And then we've got a chapter-approved book as well.
Tactical deployment. So I think this is some rules for using terrain in match play.
You basically bring your half of the battlefield to a tournament style game.
It's a good idea, right? Because that's one of the big problems with organising big tournaments.
Yeah, getting all the terrain.
Yeah, and then you end up with that. What was it like the London Grand Tournament? Do you remember the terrain that they had in that?
Yeah,
that was shocking.
It was like blocks of polystyrene not painted, and
it was like £30 a ticket for that.
Oh Jesus, yeah. So I mean, this is a good option for any like sort of gaming club or any organisation that's running these tournaments in the future.
For sure. So next is the one.
I think this was the big announcement of the day.
I think it's probably the one that I'm most excited about. There's two that I'm really excited about. I think this is probably the big one.
Yeah. This is a new Warcry box.
Yep. It is called Warcry Catacombs, and it features two never released before warbands. We have seen these warbands before on like previous reveals. So you got the Scions of Flame that we've known about since Warcry came out, because if you remember, the original Chaos Warcry warbands were all fashioned after one of the realms.
Yes.
So the Scions of Flame are obviously the guys from Akshay.
Yeah.
But they decided to hold them back for this box set, because you've got K-Knight Shadowstalkers versus Scions of Flame. So it's a good time to be an elf player in Age of Sigmar. Elf that we're not at the moment, aren't we?
How does that make you feel as a dwarf player?
I mean, they're cool looking models, but
I like this guy with the two crossbows.
Yeah, Yo dog, I heard you like crossbows.
Yeah.
What do you think of his leggings?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I've seen someone wear those in like a metal club or something. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
in fact, I'm pretty sure I've seen half of this warband at a metal club at some point.
Yeah, I think so. The wizard, she's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is she? It's kind of hard to tell with elves
Yeah.
at times, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're rocking the sort of androgynous thing. It's very elfy, right?
Yes. And a ton of
Very-
assassins
very
and
nice
spellcasters, yeah.
But I prefer the Scions of Flame.
Yeah, we were saying when they were streaming this, I personally love this guy. Is got almost like samurai armor on, which I
Yeah.
just think looks fantastic.
But I think, like I've said to you before, one of the things that I love about Age of Sigmar is that I think more so than a lot of other fantasy games, it really draws upon the ancient and classical world for a lot of its aesthetics and things, and you kind of see like there's a bit of like sort of Babylonian kind of Mesopotamian aesthetics going on with these guys, which is really neat. They got a sort of Persian flavour to them. They look awesome. I think that Charlotte actually quite likes playing Warcry.
Yeah, well, you guys have your little campaign on.
So
the
I
go.
think when I pick up this box, I will be playing the Scions of Flame.
Now, interestingly, they made no mention of the release date, did they?
No mention of the release date, but I think I'd be surprised if we didn't see most of this stuff before the end of the year.
Well, particularly they've revealed a lot of what you're getting in the box, so you kind of have to anticipate it's going to be out sooner rather than later.
'Cause most of this stuff is it screams Christmas to me, right?
Yeah,
because you're
fighting in catacombs screams Christmas.
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, it's clever, right? Because a lot of us are still in lockdown. We're still having to isolate. You've got everything you need to play in this box.
Yeah, you got the battle mat, you've got the terrain. The battle mat is double-sided as well, which is a touch I like as well. And yeah,
and you
it
get
just
to
looks
fight
great.
in dungeons.
Yeah.
What's not to like about this box? I mean, if it's priced anything like the original Warcry box, they are incredible value for money.
Yeah. And that's it. Like the terrain and the battle mat you'll use in other games as well.
Yeah,
so.
like even if you don't end up using the warband so much, like everything here, like you say, you're gonna be using rigorously.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the highlight for me. I think the Catacombs reveal.
Oh yeah, that seems to like the biggest deal out of the lot. So moving on, we've got the new season of Warhammer Underworlds.
What do you think of the name?
What is the name again?
The Diachasm. Yeah, I mean, just
I want to make jokes, but that are definitely not appropriate for this.
You can imagine a
this
lot
podcast.
of them in the design studio sniggering about that, can't you?
Yeah. But name aside, it looks pretty cool.
Surprise, Slaanesh.
Slaanesh. Yeah.
With a name like that, right?
Yeah. And it
no Stormcast.
Yeah,
in this box
it
set.
looks like the opposing force will be what are the new high elves called?
Lumineth Realm Lords.
Lumineth Realm Lords.
It's the spiritual successors to the High Elves and a bunch of Slaaneshi creeps.
Yeah.
Because guess what, kids? Despite what you try to say, and despite what they try to say in the forums and Facebook groups, Slaanesh is not a good guy. Okay.
No, he's not. Really not. There's some artwork has been revealed. They haven't revealed any mini. Well, they've revealed one mini, and it's from neither of these warbands. But on the artwork, it looks like the Slaanesh warband's getting a Minotaur. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think some people were calling it a Slangor.
Oh, right.
You know that you get Zangors and Pestigors.
Okay. Oh,
so
right.
it's like a Slaanesh.
A Slaanesh gore.
But they use a lot of sort of bovine imagery within Slaanesh, don't they?
Yeah. A lot of horns.
Horns and hoofs and things like that.
Horny.
Yeah. Hey. What do you think the connection is there? Again, a little bit of ancient world there, because there's a lot of sort of bovine iconography in a lot of the ancient faiths, isn't there?
Yeah, quite possibly. I don't know.
Perhaps like the association with like fertility, something like that.
Maybe. I out of the 4 Chaos Gods, Slaanesh is my least favourite.
Slaanesh,
I have to say,
is the worst.
Yeah, just the worst.
Yeah. Your favourite's obviously Nurgle.
Oh yeah, easy. Yours is Khorne, right?
I don't know. Like I quite like Tzeentch.
Well, that's it. Though. Those 3 gods are like, there's something appealing about all of them to me. And then Slaanesh is like,
I like the cosmic horror of Tzeentch.
Yes.
And I like the I mean, like, whoever came up with Tzeentch, they definitely did their research. I can't remember the name of the philosopher. If you know who this quote is attributed to, let us know. But there was a famous philosopher that said change is the only constant.
Yeah, that's true.
And I just love like all the paradoxes that Tzeentch is full of, you know. And like with Khorne, like he is the most metal of the Chaos Gods.
Oh yeah, like just Iron Maiden playing in the background whenever he's about.
I mean, I think you could go as far as to say that Khorne is the most Warhammer of the 4 Chaos Gods.
Probably, yeah. Probably. I was this has just occurred to me though. This is all the other Chaos Gods have had war bands for Underworlds, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
Yeah,
because in Beastgrave the Nurgle one came out. We've had 2 Khorne war bands. We got a Tzeentch one in Nightvault.
Yep.
And then we just got a
Nurgle one previous season.
So we are due a Slaanesh warband.
So yeah, I'll allow it.
I mean,
yeah.
I've been out of the loop on Underworlds for a long time, but I mean, who doesn't get excited when new models come out?
Aye, I'm sure. Yeah,
unless it's Elves of Slaanesh.
Yeah. They did announce a new model, and it looks bloody awesome though. For Underworlds, they've teased a chameleon skink for a Lizardman warband, and he looks great.
He's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, he's got a little blowpipe there. He's just chilling on a branch.
It's an incredible little model, and it's, you know, the chat exploded when they revealed this guy.
Hi.
And it's one of these things again. It's like, you know, when they did the Seraphon, which is like the spiritual successors to Lizardmen, they are Lizardmen.
Mm-hmm.
When they gave them their new book last year, I think it was. Why didn't they bring out some new plastic kits?
It's a good question.
We could have done with plastic Croxagors, I think, and plastic chameleon skinks. At least.
I think most of their range has aged pretty well, though.
It has.
Given how old a lot of it is.
No, you're right, they do. But I like, there was a couple of kits that could have, like the salamanders as well, probably.
Yeah.
Could do with plastic salamanders.
I'm sure they'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm holding out hope after seeing this wee guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, having a whole unit of those chameleon skinks, if they looked anything like that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
So, I think this is us coming towards the end of the announcement now.
Yep, some more Underworld stuff.
And then, but we've got a new box set for Age of Sigmar as well.
Yes. It is Shadow and Pain. We weren't kidding when we said it's a good time to be an elf player in Age of Sigmar. It's they've been doing these boxes for a while, right? Where it's they basically repackage a bunch of existing miniatures,
give you a couple of exclusives in there
exactly.
as well,
like a couple of new sculpts, namely like the characters leading each of the force, and there's normally like a bit of fluff, explaining who they are. What do you think of the Slaanesh guy?
He does, right. It's a great model. In typical Slaanesh fashion, Has he got quite a lot of piercings going on there? He's wearing stockings. He's wearing stockings with a suspender. Look at that. Weird guy.
But yeah, like his clothing, you're right, is like it's on iron rings that are like bound to his flesh.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to be a popular sculpt for painters.
Oh yeah. And then they've got a Naga as the leader of the elf faction.
What is she called? Where is her name? A Melusai Iron Scale.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like we were saying earlier, a lot of the ancient and classical world in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And one of the things they added to Daughters of Cain were all these kind of mutated versions of elves. So you basically have, like you're saying, Nagas and
Medusas,
Harpies.
yeah.
It's really cool. I like it.
Oh yeah. And again, great sculpt.
Yeah.
And again, we've got another book.
This is the one that I'm really excited for. This one, like it's close between this and Catacombs for me, and this ties in with the box set that they're revealing because the new book's called Marathi, and it's part of a series called Broken Realms, and intelligent guess says like Psychic Awakening for Age of Sigmar.
Probably, yeah. Series of books. Each one is gonna have some goodies for each faction.
Yeah, maybe some like campaign stuff, and it's also progressing the story. That sort of idea,
which is weird for Games Workshop, but they have been doing that now for a while. But I remember back in the day, like the story was always like just static.
Yeah, which was.
I get why, but
it was boring.
Yeah, I like the fact that things happen now.
Yeah. I think like when we were talking about this after the stream, advancing the story, the thing that we're really hoping for is like a WWE Undertaker return for Grimnir, that kind of thing.
Yeah, back from the dead.
Yeah, that. So, and I mean that's totally plausible, given that we're now in an age where they're actually advancing the story, and ever since Age of Sigmar's been a thing, the story has progressed.
Yeah,
and I think it was around because they've been progressing the 40k story for a while as well.
Yeah. So that was the announcement, but we've also actually been doing some gaming this week.
Yes, we have.
Yes. I had my first game of 9th edition 40k against Tom. I was bringing my Death Guard and Tom was bringing Genestealer Cults. I really enjoyed playing it. I was saying to you earlier, one of the things I like about this new edition of 40k is it is all objective based. So you have to be smart about playing the mission and picking your secondaries to things that you're trying to judge what am I likely to achieve out of this. There wasn't any secondaries that play into it, but one thing I do like is there are a lot of secondary objectives that punish particular opponents. There's one called Deny the Witch where you rack up points for killing Psykers. So if you're against like Grey Knights or Thousand Suns, you're gonna pick that. There's one that is just all about slaying Titans. So again, if you're up against like Imperial Knights, that would be a good one to take as well.
There's one for taking down vehicles. So
yeah.
If you're up against like Iron Hands or something
or Guard
like that.
Or something like that. So it was fun. Nurgle won in the end. Turns out I can make quite a lot of disgustingly resilient saves.
Yeah. that was that corroborates with what I heard.
Hey, look, if someone says to you, you can either be good at this or lucky at this, choose luck. Choose luck every time.
Now, was that if we were actually talking about how you always say that the other day? I can't remember what the context was.
It's true. No.
I don't know. Like, if you choose luck, you're a leaf in the wind, right?
Yeah, but if you are lucky, then it's fine.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it'll turn against you at some point.
Yeah. One of these days I'll learn. So how did your game of Age of Sigmar go?
So Tom's not really like where he's played 40k since he was a wee lad. So although it's a new edition, it was like when he was playing 40k with you, it was really just like refreshing and like ironing out some of the new rules. He's a total novice when it comes to Age of Sigmar.
Well, almost. He has played a couple of games, but not many.
No, not many. So my thinking was, because playing Soulbound, he was saying that he wanted to give it a go. He's really interested in the universe. So I'd offered to play, like to talk him through a game, and because he kept saying to me, "Do you think it's really bloated, the system?" And I was like, "Well, not really." And it occurred to me that the faction he was initially wanting to play in this game was Disciples of Tzeentch, which
is one of them. From my understanding from you, is one of the most complex factions to play.
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's such a weird army. Like, well, one, pretty much everything's a wizard, so you need to remember and familiarize yourself with all of that, and all of those synergies, and they just don't really behave like any other army. They're quite a strange one. They're like magical flying wizardy gunline thing. It's weird.
Yeah. So he brought his old school dwarves, didn't he?
Yeah. So we changed things up. According to General Handbook 2020, you don't really use dispossessed anymore. I think the idea being that really they've been rendered obsolete by Cities of Sigmar.
Yeah.
But he didn't have enough to do a Cities of Sigmar,
Okay.
so he just used the old. He just used the rules from last year
to
run his dispossessed, and I made a point of not using too many of like my Stormcast rules. So I didn't use any of the spells from the Stormcast book.
Yeah.
And I didn't use any of the artifacts because I didn't want to be throwing too many rules at him.
Yeah.
And he said he enjoyed it. I think he's maybe considering expanding his dwarfs.
That's cool. Yeah.
I think he seems to be gravitating towards Cities of Sigmar. I think maybe because it's that's where we are in Soulbound, right?
Yeah. So it links in with that campaign. So yeah, that's all good. It's all good. I have also been playing another GW game, but not physically. I've been playing.
Apologies to any of our listeners if you're not interested in Games Workshop games.
Yeah,
but there's not a lot coming out at the moment. Other than Games Workshop.
I'm sure our listeners have learned by now.
Yeah, but this is a Games Workshop heavy episode.
Yes, but I've been playing Blood Bowl online with a few pals, so that's been really fun. I've said for a while, and this has been my first real proper. I've played a few games of Blood Bowl in the past, but this has been my first couple of leagues that I've been playing. But a lot of people hold Blood Bowl in really high regard amongst Games Workshop's games. It's so much fun. So easy to see why. So
I think I might take a bit of flack off of Mr. Bowers, one of our patrons, for saying this, but I do feel in many respects that a new edition's warranted.
Yeah, they haven't. When they released the 2016 version, it was basically an unchanged, rules-wise unchanged from previous.
And that was coming out in a landscape where Guild Ball and Dread Ball and a couple of other sort of fantasy sports games were still going strong. It's a very different landscape now.
Yeah.
And I do think there's I mean, because what I think one of the big new changes coming is the fact that passing's no longer going to be based on your agility. It's going to be based on a separate passing stat, which I think makes so much more sense.
Yeah, and it hopefully means that the new edition will it will allow for passing the ball around the field to be a bit more of a viable strategy, because usually you just want to run the ball up rather than trying to go for the long Hail Marys.
Which can result in a lot of midfield attrition, which some people love, and I love it, but it's also nice to get a bit of variety, I think.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want them to change it too much. I think that's a nice change.
I think probably what will happen is passing will suddenly become an option for teams that it really wasn't for before. I'm thinking specifically like dwarfs, where they are not the most agile, but if you consider the fact that most of the statistics and behaviour in Blood Bowl are grandfathered over from Warhammer Fantasy battles, dwarfs are pretty accurate with their shooting, things like that. It would make sense to me that they're maybe not as good at passing as elves, but it's something that they've maybe got an option with doing. I could see like things like that opening up for certain factions.
Yeah, absolutely. So that comes out later this year, but obviously what we're playing at the moment is the current edition. So I am. I'll shout out to Nick, Stephen, Michael, and Sam. These are the guys that I'm in a league with. I'm just going to bring it. So the league is the Big Bowl of Porridge. We're on the 7th iteration of the Big Bowl of Porridge. I don't know. This was before I joined.
Oh, right, okay. They phoned that one in a bit, didn't they?
You're going to get flack for that. So I am playing an orc team.
Okay.
The Black Rag Greenskins.
Nice traditional name.
Yep. I'm not doing so great this season, to be honest. I got my first game was against Stephen. He has an Underworld Denizens team, the Smelly Shites, who absolutely hammered me, and I had like 4 injuries.
Smelly Shites. Is this going to be like a list of stuff? It's like, was this written by a bunch of grown men or 10-year-old boys? Which I think would be pretty much any like group of men given free rein to name their teams,
basically,
given the tone of Blood Bowl.
So Nick is playing Dark Elves. He's gone for the Carrot Kids, and all of his
the Carrot Kids.
All of his players are named after carrots. But so we've got Michael is playing Chaos, the Corn Stars.
I like that one.
Yeah,
and obviously like Corn the God, the Corn Stars.
Yeah, but the team to beat, and I played them today, and they beat me 2-1. Is Sam's Lizardmen team, which is just called the Tough Guy Club. Which
that's the best thing. The best thing.
I just it makes me laugh every single time.
The Tough Guy Club. It's like, if we insist upon it enough, maybe it'll be true.
They will saw us hit really hard.
And they are actually quite tough.
Yeah. So he's got a Croxigor as well, but the real stars of his team are the Skinks.
Oh yeah,
because they're so fast and nippy. It's really hard to pin them
passing,
down. Yeah,
which is exactly what they were like in Warhammer Fantasy battles.
Yes, great at range.
Skink skirmishers were quite possibly one of the best units in the game.
So annoying, weren't they?
Yeah, and they got all those poison attacks as well.
God, yeah, you're giving me. I'm getting traumatized from playing flashbacks to playing against Hugh. Shout out Hugh if you're listening, and his Lizardmen. But what a couple of the guys have put together. They've actually put together a ranking of all the teams in the history of the Big Bowl of Porridge. So
why is it called the Big Bowl of Porridge?
I actually don't know. I've no idea. Okay. No idea. So some of the other names is we've got an Elven Union team just called Anime Hair. A high elf team called Too Posh to Bosh. A necromancer team called Raging Boners.
That's a good one.
A Norse team. This was one of the. I think this was the first league that I joined. Sam had created a Norse team called the Uptown Boys. They ended the league with half of their team dead. I don't know. Injury obviously. That's the big downside for Norse is they're only armor 7, so they get injured really easily.
Oh, okay, right. Because I was thinking, are they not kind of tough, Norse?
No, they're very punchy. But the glass cannons.
Okay.
It's just Michael did a necromancer team called the Rowdy Rough Boys. Michael did. I love this one. Michael did a Nurgle team, Rottingham FC.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a Goblins team.
You should have called them Rottingham Forest.
I bet you get the idea.
So marks off for that.
So currently, out of the rankings, the Tough Guy Club are the best team in the history.
Also have the best name.
Yeah, they've won 2 seasons. They look like they could win this third one. Followed by Anime Hair with 1 win, season win.
It kind of makes sense. I think Lizardmen must be one of the best all round teams. Not to knock on. Who's running the Tough Guy Club?
Sam.
Not to take away from Sam's skill or planning. It sounds like he's a really good player, but the fact that you get really tough, hard hitting guys alongside
the very agile skinks, yeah,
that's a good balance for.
But I've been really enjoying playing my my orcs. By chance, I've managed to roll on my leveling ups to get, and 4 of them I've got improved agility, so they've been getting called green elves quite a bit because they can actually pass the ball.
Yeah.
So we're about halfway through the 3rd season that I've played in, and I don't know. I'm at a bit of a crossroads because there's a few of the guys are gonna pick up new teams for the next season. I'm kind of wondering. Do I do that?
So are they picking up new teams for the new video game Blood Bowl, or is this like physical plastic?
Well, a bit of both actually. We were talking about this earlier today, and I know Sam is keen to pick up some actual minis for the new edition being released this year. So we might when it is appropriate for us to do face-to-face gaming. Again, we might take it to actual tabletop, which will be fun. And I'd like to have a nice painted orc team, so I might hit you up for that later.
This episode is brought to you by Ashenhold Art.
Yeah,
again.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's just about us wrapped up. Was there anything else we needed to talk about?
So yeah. So yeah, Games Workshop continue to churn stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting to shortlist stuff for Game of the Year.
Yeah, there's not. I'll be honest. There's not been there's not been an awful lot of new games that I've actually played this year. But
I'm saying that to say that if any of our listeners know of anything that we might have missed, please get in touch.
Yeah, because. Need to. It is August, but time is a marching, so it'll be time to start thinking of.
Well, it's almost September.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I think on that note, thanks very much for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.